So that's just one exception to the rule you can't give away assets. There are other exceptions to the rule that you can't give away assets. For example, and this is, these are simply written in Medicaid's rules. Now, I didn't mention this, so I think I should. Medicaid is a federal and a state program. So you have the federal law, which says something, and then every state has their own rules and about how they apply the Medicaid rules for long-term care. So I'm talking about the state of Washington. What I'm talking about is not necessarily applicable in Oregon or in Idaho or California or any other state. So if you're listening to this and not live, but later on, well, when it's posted, keep in mind, I'm talking about Washington. So don't rely on what I'm telling you if you are in a different state. It may be true, but it's not necessarily true. So what are the rules for where can you give away your assets with no problem, no penalty? Yes, you can. If you can give away your house to your spouse, that's a no-brainer. We do that all the time. Okay, you can give away your house to your disabled child, no penalty. When I say disabled, what does that mean? That means somebody who's on SSDI. Maybe your son has a bad back. You can give your house to him and all your assets, no penalty. What if your son is on SSI? There's no penalty to you, but if you give away your house, or not necessarily your house, but other assets to somebody who's on SSI, who's your disabled child, you're going to create problems for them for the benefits they get. So don't do that. Give away the assets to a trust that can be created, a Medicaid compliant trust for your SSI child. You can give away all your assets. They receive them in a trust. They keep getting their benefits and you get Medicaid, no penalty. You can give away your house to a sibling if you've lived in the house with your sibling and they've had an equity interest with you for a year. You can give away your house to your caregiver child. They've lived with you in your house for 2 years, provided care. Without that care, you wouldn't have been able to stay home. There's a lot of exceptions to this rule and traps. One of the traps about giving your house away to your caregiver child is you must immediately qualify for Medicaid. You may not privately pay at an adult family home or assisted living. If you do that, the caregiver child exemption rule goes away. You can't use it. So that's something to be very concerned about. What else can you do? What else does Medicaid say you can do? I just talked about your house. Well, like I said, you can give away all your assets to a disabled child or to a trust for a disabled person who's under the age of 65. So if you have in your family people who are disabled, qualified disabled under Social Security, and Washington even has its own rule about what they accept as a disabled person, that's a planning opportunity. I want you to be aware of those, not that you're going to go out and implement this yourself, but this is something to keep in mind. Here's a way to give away assets, not spending them down, just giving them away to the people who you would want to have them anyway with no penalty. Okay.